Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to HMP. I hope you've been keeping your grades up because today we're reviewing Malibu High from 1979. I'm Adam Porterson, and joining me today, I'm a flake and he's a Bruce Leslie.
I'm a prickly pear, and this is not a movie you watch without warning people in your house that you're about to watch it.
Oh no, you don't want to put this on while Grandma's in the house. There's if you were watching this on Thanksgiving weekend here with Grandma in the house, you've made a big, giant mistake.
You don't want to watch it in the living room if somebody might come to the door to drop off a gift either. Like,
oh honey, look, they're carolers here. I'm just watching Malibu High in the living room, sweetheart. You just let them in here and have them sing "Oh Holy Night" and be on their way.
Just make a big sign, put it up over the mantelpiece or something that says, "I'm watching this for a podcast, not for enjoyment."
Not for enjoyment. We'll find out if Bruce enjoyed this movie. Before we do want to say thank you to the people that support the show over at patreon.com/HMP. Those awesome people get pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. And on this episode of the Dinger Zone, Bruce and I review the Eli Roth movie Thanksgiving that just came out this weekend. 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Do we agree with that highest thing? Check it out over there, the Dinger Zone. Why don't you? And if you're a supporter over the Dinger Zone, man, we also like to make sure that when in doubt, or when in need rather, we reach out and help you guys and stuff as well. So our buddy Slick Derek the Night Bard had a Kickstarter for his Worlds Within game and everything. And as of this recording, they have, let me see, I think it's 1 hour to go at this point. So about 1 hour to go as of this recording, and they're well over 100%.
Oh,
so look at them. So they have met their goal and everything. So we're going to get all that. I got a little physical copy. That's the one that I got. My name's going to be in the book. I'm excited about that one too. Woo-hoo. So if you're part of that, you can look me up. And when you look down at my name in the little book there, and it's got Adam Porters right there, you just go, it's a good guy. He's a supporter. Just like all the people over at patreon.com/HMP, which includes Sir Derek the Night Bard.
Yay.
So do that. We appreciate that. And if you can't do that, for the love of everything, just go over there to the iTunes, drop us a 5-star review, a.k.a. Humdinger.
Humdinger.
We'd really appreciate that. Well, let's get into it. Bruce, here's the IMDb plot line for Malibu High.
I got to hear this.
As we all know, IMDb 100% correct in everything they say and or do. After being dumped by her boyfriend and about to flunk high school, Kim decides on major changes by using her body. Well, that is very true. But I'm also at the same time very glad that doesn't give away all the things that happen in this story. That story of which is written by John Buckley from his original story, screenplay by John Buckley and Thomas Singer, directed by Erwin Berwick. And let me tell you something, Bruce. The majority of people who worked on this film, this is a one and done.
I'm going to say that Erwin Berwick is not a real person. I'm going to say that whoever directed this used the name Erwin Berwick. John Buckley might be a real person. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of pseudonyms involved with a movie like this. I just do. Did it really take two people to write this? Come on, half a person could have written this.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of crazy things. So let me kind of just tell you.
Is there a list?
There is. Well, but let me tell you how I came across this thing ahead of time, because this was one of those things that I want to say circa, we'll call it 2010-ish. A lot of DVDs being put out and everything, and a lot of public domain stuff gets slammed all onto a disc and put out there with like drive-in classics written on it and a whole bunch of other things. So this Crown International picture was one of those that was in one of those packs. It's with Trip with the Teacher and just a whole bunch of other crappy Crown and AIP pictures and stuff like that. So this was one of those. And again, they just have the title on the box, and maybe if you're lucky, a little one-line synopsis of it. So, you just put in these things, see what you're going to get. And this was a movie that, I started watching and I was just like, okay, I think I know it. I think I understand what kind of movie that I'm watching. And as things go on, things change. And so when I get into this list, what I want everybody to understand is that this movie is insane. And this movie is insane and goes in weird, crazy places that I did not expect. So I'm going to, within our breakdown, I'm going to kind of spoil everything here because this movie is insane, and that's the reason that I like it. So let me break this sucker down because it's got everything. We start with the Crown International Pictures logo that can only mean one thing: low-budget grindhouse nonsense like Malibu High. Red letters on a black background with a dorky guy playing a guitar and singing a hippie song. This is a full 2 minutes and 50 seconds of an opener, and we haven't seen a single shot frame of film yet. That is a great sign. An even better sign, the first shots of those movies that we do see in our quote-unquote high school student who looks all of 32 years old wakes up in her birthday suit. But first things first, got to light me up that cigarette. Remember how to brush your hair before you put on your clothes, which can be seen on That 70s Show. We got frumpy old mom. This might be the house from Back to the Future. Watch it again. It really might be that exact same house. I kid you not. When they pull out into the road, there's a lot of it where I'm just going, bro, that very well be the Back to the Future house.
The interior is a condemned house with a folding card table as the dining room
for
table.
Sure. But the outside, that may be the Back to the Future house. I'm almost certain of it. We got, so we get to the high school, bell bottoms abound. We get a healthy dose of girl-tude, stuffy industrial revolution talk. Only in this movie could the younger, cuter looking blonde be cast, and we all know is the smart girl in class. Don't think so. We got stank face fighting with your ex, generic rock music. You know that you've come home from when you've come home from a long day of school and you just have to start by shaming your mother for cleaning the house, because that's what our hero does. Screw you, Mom. I'm going to the dance party at Larry's Disco. That's 100% the real name of this nondescript disco music playing where the most white people you've ever seen dancing, and that includes the black people that are in that scene, too. Just nothing but bad dancing. We got an Ed Sheeran cameo 5 years before he was born. Nightclub or closed Italian restaurant. Well, check that. It turns out it was actually a Mexican restaurant. I would not go to a Mexican restaurant that looks like that. Yikes. If RBF was a sport, our hero would take the gold in this one. Our ladies, now here's the point where the movie starts to change just a little bit. And let's go from here, because Bruce, I still have a buttload of points here, but they all kind of just spoil everything. So let's kind of go like step by step from this point. So this girl is just like, she's the bad girl.
Yeah, she starts off her mom getting on her at breakfast because smoking while you eat is unattractive or something.
What's your problem, Mom? I can't smoke at the dinner table at 18 years old?
At the breakfast table.
Your daughter comes in and starts smoking at the breakfast table, Bruce. How you taking it?
Not well.
Not as well as
like,
this,
hey,
Mom?
But I can smoke while I drink my coffee, right, Mom? Not to mention, like, this probably doesn't set the record, but boy, it wastes no time in letting you know that you came to the correct drive-in if you wanted to see C-list boobs, or D-list. I don't know. Because like you said, she sits up and she's just sitting there totally naked for a moment, like kind of uncomfortable. Like, I wonder, did she know the camera was running? Like, what's going on here?
Well, interesting point to that. According to all the notes and stuff, all of the girls, when they tried out for the thing, were very enthusiastic, taking off their clothes left and right. And it was just I am ready to be in Hollywood and show business. And as often the times when, girls have stars in their eyes at that young age and everything, they get to sit and they're like, hold on. Wait a minute, I'm doing what now? And this is going to be on a film and everything. So then they get a little bit more demanding, and that's why there's a lot of underwear in this movie, because they were just like, maybe not.
And
credit to them for that.
I don't understand why she cared so much about getting A's, because she's clearly not planning to go to college.
That's one of the most amazing parts of this movie, is how much this girl wants to finish high school.
But she's failing the one class with the old lady teacher.
For somebody that's as dumb as a rock, she really has an intent mind on graduating high school, because for whatever reason in her brain, that means that she's successful, I guess.
Not just graduate high school. She wants A's.
Well, yeah. That's how you graduate, right?
No, you can graduate with C's.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I proved that.
Yeah, you don't have to have all A's.
No.
Like I said, she's clearly not planning on going to Stanford or anything, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, too, like, she's one of those kids that doesn't know how to cheat. Like, I kind of cheated in stuff when I was in school on spelling tests and stuff because I was no good at it. We had these bubble-in tests, and they were like, our teacher was lazy and said trade with your neighbor and grade their test and then hand it back. Well, I never handed mine to somebody else, so I lightly colored in the bubbles that I thought were correct, and if they were wrong, I fixed them. But I always left some blank. I always left some wrong because I didn't want to give away the bait, and just be like, hey, look at me. All of a sudden, I'm getting A's? That doesn't make sense. You don't go from D's and F's to A's. You go to B's and C's.
Yeah,
because that means you put a little bit of effort towards it.
Couldn't she just let him like squeeze a chowder bucket for a C and be done with it instead of rolling around in that grassy field? And she probably got bug bites and sunburn and uncomfortable places and stuff.
It's terrible. So our ladies leave the club and they find Tony the dope man / pimp / Uncle Rico is what I kind of call him.
I was going to say this has to be the prototype for Styles from Teen Wolf that we watched not that long ago.
He's not
it's Tony,
too far.
the drug dealing pimp at the old school we all go hang out with.
He's got his like little wispy mustache and everything. It's fantastic.
Oh man, it's like the guy from Fast Times at Ridgemont High too. That was kind of greasy. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah. That dude. We got the 2.5 foot bong. That's always a good one. Chowder.
I was gonna say, man, couldn't they find a bigger one? I mean, wow. Where you hide that when your parents are looking in your room?
Man, you get a really tall locker. Chowder bucket talk. We got a little booze to. What did I write here?
Something about booze.
Oh, you add a little booze to trees and then you hatch your plan to make them all pay. I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds funny. We got a dream flashback that shows us what happened to Dad. Let's talk about Dad. Holy crap. This takes such a turn, right? So
Dad committed suicide because he was no longer aroused by his wife is what we're led to believe.
Essentially. But like, so she's already used Dad's like it escalates in that scene where she's arguing with her. It escalates so fast. It's just like, that's why Dad left you. That's why Dad killed himself. You're like, uh-oh, what now? Dad all of a sudden, he went from leaving her to killing himself to killing himself because he could not get aroused because of mom.
Maybe if you'd fixed yourself up a little bit, he wouldn't have killed himself because he couldn't get it up anymore. I think that's specifically what she said.
Yeah. You're like, wow.
Not to mention just how creepy that flashback scene is.
Like, it's like when you open your front door and your dad's feet are dangling above, his lower half is just dangling in front of the doorway.
And there's something about an adult dressed as a child that's just so unsettling.
Oh, that's hilarious too. Where it's just like, well, we needed her as a young kid in this flashback. Put on some pigtails.
We're not going to actually get a kid. Let's just put this 27-year-old in pigtails.
Nah, which is hilarious because she was like 18 or 19. She just looks old as crap.
She smoked a lot, I guess. That's how it was back then.
Yeah, it was nuts. But like, so she has that flashback and everything. But the best part is her best friend's just like, your dad died 2 years ago. Why don't you get over it? I'm like, he committed suicide and she opened the door and found his dead body. I think 2 years she could still have some traumatic, stuff left over after seeing something like that. That's a pretty big deal. It's not like Dad just went to the store for some cigarettes and never came back. He killed himself. My word.
What do you think about her ex-boyfriend and his new rich girlfriend who I guess is driving what was a fancy car in 1970 something?
Oh yeah. She's great. She's a little jerk. I like she was clearly the best person for that role because like she's not like proportion wise, she's not like she looks smaller and younger than everybody else. They're pretty much all the same age and everything, but she looks smaller and younger, probably what more like that age actually, looked in that time. But she's really great. She is the one that kind of has the better acting chops of all the people that are there. So obviously that's kind of the reason why she's the one who's gone on and actually had a career after this movie. Oh,
she did?
Yeah, she actually had a career.
Okay, good for her, whoever that one was. Tammy Taylor?
Yeah, Tammy Taylor. She was she had an actual she's had an actual career and everything. So she went on to more stuff after this. Everyone else not so much.
Now, this movie made some bank, which kind of surprised me when I looked at the budget versus the box office. And I guess the box office had to be mostly drive-ins, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
And Grindhouse, like this isn't a, I don't know what were reputable movie theaters back in the day, back in 1979. I have no idea, but man, this made $8 million against a $100,000 budget.
Yeah. And that's all it needed is because it had that poster. It's got the chowder buckets. It's got all the it's crazy. So we got
also the girl on the poster is not the girl in the movie, right?
Pretty much. I mean, she don't look like her none. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's like the secret. Just get whoever you want
that
on the
ain't that
poster.
ain't what we're selling. We're selling the idea. That's all
Once
we're
you
doing.
get in there, you can't get your money back because of the poster.
We got the poorest of set dressings. I love the bare minimalist crap on the walls where we are just putting together posters up there with like just a little piece of tape. Her Valentine from her boyfriend that looks like it was made by a 4-year-old.
They set the bar so low with that breakfast table and folding chairs that from that point on, I just quit paying attention to anything but pervy Tony's kidnapper van.
So she starts skanking it up around the school and everything and getting shaking it around her school teacher there and everything in history class.
At first, she's hesitant to exchange intimate favors for money when Tony the pimp wants her to work for him. Yeah. But she's got no problem doing an exchange for an A, which I think she's got her economy a little messed up there because the A is not worth it. I promise you.
She's got that idea in her head. She wants to be an academic, I guess. I
feel like either Buckley or Singer was a teacher and they wrote what they wished kids would do, but I think they were probably broken men. But I like the idea. The way that the teachers just are so, like 2 of them are just so offended that she's even propositioning them, like straight up offended to the point that I thought, wow, does she really miss the mark here? But then they both show up in that random field called High Point.
We're a simple group, us men. We just kind of go, this is terrible, this is awful. But you know what? I can't like all I expect. You expect Chris Hansen to pop out at any moment, going, "What are you doing here, buddy?" And him just going, what I was wanting to do was come by to just make sure that she was going to be okay, and to reiterate that I was not going to be doing any of this stuff at all. Yeah. Like that's what you feel like is about to happen, but it doesn't. No, they just kind of get to it.
I was really like, I had to check, is this really rated R? Because it looked like at any minute it was going to go deep throat on us.
No, it does look like this was definitely made for that grindhouse drive-in circuit stuff, to where we're trying to get you in there. We're trying to titillate.
In a pre-Skinamax era, I guess that's all people had if they didn't have a place that could go the full on,
or you're walking into like a dirty bookstore or something like that. That was an uncouth thing to do in 1979, So, but somehow a dirty movie theater is okay.
But if you're 14 and you want to hide in the trees behind the drive-in and watch it through binoculars, nobody judges you for that.
Nah, that's fine. So the teachers, he's like, I'm not having any of this. And then he goes, and of course he does have plenty of it. Uncle Rico shows back up and she's ready to make a deal. That's what I like about this. This girl's always thinking. She was testing the waters for this A, I think. She was like, I need to get this A, so I need to do the teacher. I feel like I can finally do this. And so now she goes to Uncle Rico to make the deal.
Yeah, and he gets $30 and she gets $20. Now, I don't know when you adjust that for inflation what that turns out to be, but it don't sound like much.
No, it doesn't. That was my note under pimp math of how all of this works out. Like, hey there, lady. So at this point, she agrees to the 60-40 split and everything. And with that, the shaggin' wagon is open and is open for business. Business is booming, baby. We got a line of construction workers that are literally lining up. If you're the fifth guy in line, you got to be like, what am I doing here? On my lunch break, no less.
And then, she doesn't spend that much time with Tony until she gets picked up by a higher level pimp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I got a little bit more of that. She got herself a new car after all of this stuff. So after
convertible.
Yeah, she's like, and now I'm driving around in style. Now her friend doesn't have to drive her to all the makeout points and stuff where she can go blackmail all the teachers.
How she was getting her transportation before that. Was she roller skating? I don't know.
Yeah, she basically was just like, listen, you got to drive me up to makeout point there and everything. And her friend's like, I guess so. And I'm tired of doing this. She's like, listen, I'm going to keep turning a couple tricks and then all of a sudden I'm going to have a car to drive up there. And sure to her word that she did actually do that.
And, she I don't know who she kills first, but my favorite kill of the movie is the death by chowder buckets with the old principal. She hides his heart pills.
Oh yeah, well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, take me there, buddy.
We'll get there. So she's flapjacking all of her teachers, right? Getting herself all these A's,
except for the old Mrs. Harrington is still giving her.
And for some reason, and honestly, I'm surprised that there wasn't a line. I kind of thought there would be a line in the film. Maybe I was just remembering because I thought like, oh, this would be like kind of a sassy line, especially for like 1979, being like, I tried that, but didn't work or whatever. Like I thought that like that'd be kind of a like, listen, I'm going for all A's here, okay? But then again, in 1979, it was still a little bit like maybe we can't get away with that. But we got Annette. She's got a potty mouth, but it doesn't matter when daddy's rich. Now it doesn't. No, sirree, Bob. Why are we following these two characters that we don't know that haven't been in this movie for more than 5 minutes? Oh, that's right. They're making horizontal mambo on a bearskin rug. That's exactly why we're doing that.
I didn't even know that you were allowed to kill polar bears to make rugs, because it's not just a bearskin rug. It's a polar bear skin rug they're on. And let's talk a little bit about Annette and her daddy, because there's a couple of confusing things.
Mm-hmm.
She's in like jeans and a t-shirt, and she says, before we go see daddy, I need to go home and change. And she changes into a different pair of jeans and a different t-shirt and a Yankees jacket. She goes, hi, daddy, kisses him square on the lips for just a little too long.
It was, yeah,
too old.
It's about, yeah, there's about another second long that's like, that wasn't like a, hi, daddy.
And if she'd said granddaddy, you'd have believed it, right?
It was a time where the old men still were pumping out babies.
Now, here's the part that disturbs me a little bit when I look this up, and I don't know anything about the backstory, but the two high school kids that were making out on the bearskin rug, the polar bearskin rug, Kevin, that actor's name is Stuart Taylor. Annette, her name is Tammy Taylor, and there's part of me that's worried they were brother and sister when they made this movie, because they did that kind of crap back then.
Who knows, man? I forgot the name of those two people. Anywho, let's move on to the next point here.
Yes.
Our hero gets an offer from another upscale pimp, and guess what? Tony doesn't want to match the rate. Don't worry, we're going to cut to the new pimp and straight to cocaine and knocking boots. This guy takes no time. He is like, he's off to the races. He's just like, all right, you're my lady now. Here's a little bit of cocaine.
And at some point tells her she won't have to be with any dirty old men anymore except for one, and that's him. He calls himself out.
All my high class people and everything.
It all takes a turn. Are you going to tell us about when it takes the turn, when the guy breaks out the whips and chains? Okay,
we're getting there. Because that's one of the things is that, like, you know, she's been sitting at these construction sites the entire time, just kind of doing all that, getting her pay, but obviously Tony's getting a much higher cut than she is. So she's like, I'm gonna go to this high class stuff over here. We do a little bit of that, but we go to the brownest restaurant you've ever seen. As a matter of fact, I think that Big Brown actually has an investment in this film. Did it pay off? We'll stay soon.
You know, they own the decade.
They own the 70s like nobody's business, man. There's so much wood grain
brown,
in this movie.
Brown, beige, tan, and khaki were all battling for the control of the color schemes.
We need more wood grain, more wood grain. Well, guess what? Her first trip out to the world of high-class hookery gets her a good old S&M guy, but a little bit more than that. Handcuffs? No. We got leg irons.
Yeah, this is transporting Hannibal Lecter to the next mental hospital.
So before we get to just this scene and what happens next here, Bruce, here's my whole kind of thought process the first time that I watched this movie. So you're watching this, you got this bad girl in school and everything, and she's going to try to sleep her way to all A's and everything. And you feel like, okay, I feel like I understand what this movie is. Then the kind of drug dealer comes in, and then all of a sudden the movie shifts its turn and all of a sudden becomes a movie about this girl being a prostitute. And then they're like, okay, that's a weird turn. And then she goes to a higher end prostitute, and you're just like, okay, I did not expect that this is where this was going. All the time, she is still very interested in going and graduating high school.
And getting A's, graduating at the top of the class.
Top of the class.
She should have said, it would have been a clever pun if she'd said head of the class.
Terrible.
There's a movie called Angel. A Grindhouse classic. Isn't it kind of like this?
They're all kind of like this.
But like, I feel like Angel is the more the more artistically superior version of this, the more beloved version. But I may be remembering that incorrectly.
Incorrect. This is
I don't know which came first, but they seem to have some similarities.
We learned that no matter the price bracket, it doesn't end well for hookers. I guess that's just a lesson we all need to learn.
You know the Charlize Theron movie Monster?
Yeah, great movie.
Based on a real life serial killer. I cannot remember the lady's
Eileen
name.
Wuornos.
Do you think that this was Eileen Wuornos' favorite movie?
She's like, I like this. This girl's waiting.
I think this is where she got her ideas. Like, she was just living a normal life in 1978, goes to the drive-in in 1979, and the future was written on the big screen.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for hookers. It also doesn't end well for her or John, who she stabs in the back with Chekhov's ice pick.
Yes, as soon as he's breaking the ice, I know where this thing's going because I've seen Basic Instinct. Do you think this was the inspiration for Basic Instinct?
Yes.
I'm finding all the movies that were inspired by Malibu
All
High.
of a sudden, Mr. Verhoeven's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal 3/4 of this film and put it into mine. That's a good impression of him, I'm sure.
Oh, killed it to me.
So our girl gets a taste of murder, and she likes it. That's the best part. She sits down. It's just like she has this whole thing ahead of time. Like her pimp just goes like, "Listen, you got to kill this guy." She's like, "I can't do this. This is no good." And he's just like, "No, you're gonna have to you need to kill more people now. So what better gift to get from your pimp than a 9mm with your silencer and orders to kill Tony the pimp?"
She basically becomes Black Widow all of a sudden.
She goes, I may be a hit girl, or I may be a hooker, but I'm not a hit girl. And he goes, well, it's time you graduated, said the upscale pimp who looks like Bobby Flay.
Is that a typical career trajectory? Like, do all hitmen have to start out as gigolos?
Listen, you sleep
Frankie
with a couple of these
Bull Gravano
guys.
had a nice butt back in '62.
Listen, we all do it here. This is just part of the ritual that is that is the mafia of
Whitey Bulger. They called him Bulger for a reason.
So that's right. We give her a gun and everything, and 2 minutes into gun training, right down to gunning down Tony the pimp in front of his Oldsmobile. It's beautiful.
I love the gun training too, where they put the can on the springboard that clearly somebody behind the fence is slapping and throwing it up in the air. I love that old school Our Gang Little Rascals level special effects. I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that shot someday.
You can almost see somebody over in the other corner going, pow, pow. That's not how a gun sounds. Pow.
And action.
Ping, 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 ping. You're saying ping out loud, guy.
Oh, man. The only shot in this whole movie I'm going to steal would be the tin can getting shot, and then the board, you slap it on the backside to pop it up in the air. Like you're playing Barrel of Monkeys or something. What's the game where you like flip Tiddlywinks? Like you're playing Tiddlywinks.
Tiddlywinks. Boy, let me tell you, I don't know.
Put the chowder bucket in Tiddlywinks.
Chowder buckets and Tiddlywinks. It's the combination that we really needed.
Now, that's a store that wouldn't go broke.
So like he goes, all right, now here's your car. And like the
she now has two cars because she never got rid of the first car.
Yeah, but you need a brand new car and everything. But he goes, this is only what you just did by killing Tony the pimp. That only gets you half the car.
A car.
You want the other half of this car? You got to kill this other dude. And so she's just like, all right, well, I'm going to go. And just finds the dude, shoots him in the face, and like, boop, got a car. Shut
up. No regrets. No regrets from her.
No. But again, she's at this point, like we said, she may be out and being a hooker / hit girl and everything, but that doesn't stop her responsibilities. Nope.
Is this when she chowder buckets the principal to death?
Well, you continue. You got to go back to your school there, but the problem is the jig is up, man. Everybody knows that all of a sudden. And again, this goes back to the reason that why I made sure on those spelling tests that some of those grades were bad because
the smartest writing in this whole movie, which is a low bar, but the smartest writing is when the teachers miffed that she's blown him off for 6 weeks and won't return his calls, so he's not giving her the A. And she goes, well, would your wife like to know how I know about the half moon shaped birthmark on your butt cheek?
Yeah.
What was she going to do if he didn't have a birthmark on his butt cheek? Like to me, that's shame on him. You got to put a little makeup on that birthmark if you're going to hook up with a student.
Well, that was Adam Carolla's thing, is a prophylactic with a distinctive birthmark on it, so the girl can't later on.
Oh, man, that's terrible. He also said for sending unsolicited photos of your privates, you needed a quarter the size of a dime to hold next to it for scale so they could fit.
I like that. It's a smart move. It's called, but today with Photoshop and all, it's so much simpler.
You know what? Keep those pics to yourself, people. Nobody wants to see them.
First, let me ask you a question. You've got 3 kids there. You ever have any of their principals make a house call to you at 8 p.m. in the evening on account of your kids?
No, but I guarantee if they did it once, they would not do it twice.
Oh my word! And I like that
teachers just don't care as much as they used to. You saw what that principal did on Forrest Gump.
What was his thought process though? Like, instead of like saying like, hey, your mom needs to come in here during regular school hours and stuff when, I'm paid to be here. But what I would like to do instead, even though that my time is very limited and everything, what I would like to do is I would like to go to your house at the time of your choosing to meet with your mother. Huh?
I like how her mom is dressed to go out though. Her mom is like, they needed more of that wardrobe in this movie. Now that was a wardrobe I could see an assassin hooker wearing.
She looks like the Partridge Family bus.
No, she looks like Mrs. Roper. That was probably left over from Mrs. Roper on the Three's Company.
Three's Company, yeah. No, it's not too far off from that. But the funny part is like this girl doesn't even use her brain at the beginning of this thing, because like she obviously knows that the principal is coming to the house here and everything. Mom finally has a moment, because she's been dogging mom the entire thing and being like, hey, listen, the fact that you're not cleaning yourself up and going out is why dad killed himself and all that kind of stuff. So she finally gets a thing to where she's dressing up. She's like, hey man, I'm going out. I'm going to go to this big party here and everything. And she just goes like, I tell you what, you get dressed up and you go out, but you're doing it with like pieces of crap, essentially is what she's saying. She's like, why would you want to go?
She talks her mom out of being out of the house at a time she very much needs her mom to be out of the house.
It's like she got halfway through and just like, but if you want to go, that's cool. That's totally cool if you want to go. I feel
like John Buckley wrote the insult and Tom Singer had to come in and bail him out.
Listen, well, see, it's 79, right? So, like, to get some of that, the stuff to do the erasing on the typewriter, way expensive at that point.
Yes, you just go in and plug more.
We're like, we're going to add to as opposed to subtract from, because we can only do a couple of backspaces a day here on account of we ain't got no money to do this film.
And it's 92 minutes, so they could have cut 2 minutes. Like, nobody says we can't cut anything because we have to get at least 92 minutes.
So mom leaves, and then the principal finally shows up, and we play a little game of hide the pills and release the hounds.
Now, this guy, what is he? 85 years? Man, it's 1979. He could be 50. I don't know, man.
Exactly.
People look so old back then, but he looks 85.
Yeah, he looks 85, but he's probably like 65.
And I'm thinking, by the time you're 85, you've seen a few chowder buckets in your day. Now, I'm not going to say you don't take a peek if they're out there to look at, but the heart ain't going to give out because, and let's be honest, the lady, everybody's got their own type, but these aren't like Dolly Parton chest going on here. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my God, you got to take a look at these chowder buckets. They're just regular old chowder buckets. But is that a fair thing to say?
Yes. Now, at the same time, too, which is hilarious because they mention it, like there's a throwaway scene because like not only does she want to graduate high school, that she then wants to go and somehow, because this is the reward, I suppose, in her brain for finishing high school, is she gets a trip to Tahiti. And in said trip to Tahiti, your boy goes, and you're going to get the best tan. You live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, like, do people in Malibu have a hard time getting a tan is what I wanted to know.
Why? And she's got all these tan lines. And like, clearly she is not, a shy gal. Why
she could go? She spent so much time topless at High Point. I don't know why she has tan lines.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how fast are these encounters?
She should have like inverted tan lines. Like the part that's supposed to be covered is the only part with the tan.
Oh man, that was a great Mad Magazine cover back in the day.
Oh, was it? I didn't see that one.
Well, it was a whole group of dudes in the shower, and you just saw the butts and stuff, and so like white little underwear butts and everything, and then of course Alfred E. Newman is in the center there, and his is reversed, so he's got the up top and bottom, in the middle is tan. So
perfect
guy.
For Alfred E. Newman, a guy after my own heart.
Yep. So like he's on the ground. Last thing that he sees is yellow shag carpet. That's got to be a bad way to go for that dude.
That's how 30% of people died in 1979.
Just standing over a young girl and looking into bad carpet.
I was going to say a third of all men died looking for their heart pills.
And she's hardcore, though, man. She got her revenge and whatnot. But just when she thinks she's out, Bobby the Flay the pimp pulls her back in. Her assignment now is to kill her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend's father.
Which, she should be paying him for that opportunity, right?
I honestly, I don't think I even this is my third time seeing this movie. I don't think I put that together until this viewing.
Oh, really?
For whatever reason, I just thought these were random people, but no, it turns out it was actually. So he goes, kills this guy who I love is wearing his high-waisted shorts and everything.
And before we get too far in here, I want to talk about some technical aspects of her assassination technique.
Okay.
Does she pull the gun out way too early from way too far away? Like when it's somebody like Tony who you can get right up close to, like you touch the gun to the back of their head before you pull the trigger, right? Like she's pulling that gun out, and I don't care how many tin cans you practiced at. You don't pull that gun out from like 7 feet away if you can get right up on him before you pull it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're there. You should in close quarters, no less. It's not even also, like it's the end where we're at a distance or something.
You're making a movie about a high school hooker hit girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, I didn't expect that alliteration. Can you maybe not have every kill just be a 9mm with the silencer?
Well, all we got is this 9mm and a couple of these 3M red blood packs.
I was gonna say she could strangle somebody with a curtain cord or something. I mean, come on now, do something like she's got she hides a switchblade in her high heel. I mean, come on, give me a little something.
Yeah, Foxy Brown hid razor blades in her hair.
Yeah, and have you heard of this movie Teeth?
So she kills him, then she gets caught in the act, and then the new girlfriend comes in, and then she goes, "Hold on, you just killed my dad." She looks at her and just goes, "To be honest, though, let's be frank, she didn't have much of a choice at that point." Like
yeah,
if you got to kill Annette. If you've already killed that guy, Annette comes up in there and goes like, "Who are you?"
Not to mention she has been giving Annette stink eye and flipping her off and all kinds of stuff all along. So she's just waiting for this.
She knows it's going to be the end for you. So like you get to that point, it's either me or you, and she's like, "It's going to be you," and she pop.
And the only person who ever worked again after this film is about to shine. That's the music guy, Alan too, because this is the world premiere of what would be known as the People's Court theme song in this movie. Bum, bum, bum. I'm looking for Rusty the Bailiff, Judge Wapner.
Yeah.
Like I grew up on Little People's Court, so this was kind of traumatic to me.
I was about to say, what was your thought process? Because the first time that I heard the song is called The Big One, for those that don't actually know.
But I bet it is.
But it came out obviously before the People's Court came in, and it was a song that kind of people went to and stuff for crap like this and whatnot. And
you mean it's been in more than Malibu High and the People's Court?
Probably. I think it's one of those ones that's kind of been like, it's like a lot of those funk things from the 70s.
I bet it's been in one of those movies you have to go behind the beaded curtain to rent at the old mom and pop.
More than likely. And it was
got the weird WTF rhythm to it. Could you imagine as a kid, like you get into your uncle's stash and you find one of those old VHS tapes and you pop it in, and the first thing you hear is the theme from the People's Court.
The people in this courtroom are whatever the Judge Wapner presiding. And let's be honest, that's the only real one. That Ed Koch, no thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely Wapner, man.
Wapner's
the only reality. I don't even like Judge Judy. I'm a Wapner guy.
Look, Judge Judy's fun for like the memitude of it all, where it's just don't pee in my leg, tell me it's raining kind of thing. The folksy craziness, and God bless her.
She got all that out in season 1 though.
Yeah,
and that's on season 47, highest paid woman.
Yeah,
on
she's
Earth
making more money than Oprah, man. And we're all like, huh? That woman's still a thing, and she's sure shooting, man. Judge Judy just being a mean old jerk all the way up to the bank. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I wish I was a Judge Judy.
So we get this giant run down the beach. Her ex-boyfriend is chasing after her, which, by the way, your girlfriend gets shot and murdered. It's a 1, 2, 3, she's dead. Like they kind of just say that out loud. She goes, she's dead. And then instead of just going like, oh my God, what is going on? he goes and I'm like, I'm gonna chase her down. So they chase down.
Meanwhile, she has a gun, right?
She's got a gun, but crazier than that, she's running down the beach. She has her purse on her shoulder, and she's wearing high heels. This man behind her, who's not wearing shoes, but I don't think, but he's wearing like shorts and a t-shirt, obviously much more mobile and everything, and a man, and he cannot catch this woman. And this is the most unbelievable portion of this entire film.
In all fairness, I meet the minimum medical definition of man, and I couldn't catch anybody running on a beach.
No, if she was in high heels, I don't know. Like
this is also a high school jock looking guy. Like he looks like he's probably, only if he was a couple years younger, he would have been playing soccer on the beach in Karate Kid.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he looks like he would have beaten up Daniel LaRusso 100%. But he's chasing after her. No, I'm just like, I cannot believe this dude. And when you look back, he's not sandbagging. He's really running.
It's like he's Rocky trying to pass Apollo Creed on the beach.
Yeah, they could have shot it way better because I was sitting there.
You think this race was the inspiration for that race in Rocky 3?
It was before the time, wasn't it?
That's it.
That's all I'm saying.
This is the most influential movie we've ever
That's
covered.
all I'm saying. It's just like you can pick it all the points that are in there, and it just comes right out there. So it all leads up to this showdown. They get to this rock and everything where she's finally got some cover. I guess she couldn't have just turned around and pointing a gun at him at any time. She needed a rock to be in the way, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, he's chasing her. All she has to do is stand still, let him catch her, and then shoot him.
Yeah,
like if I have a gun and you don't, the dumbest thing you can do is chase me at him because I get tired easily.
Yeah, but even if you stopped, turned around, and like, as long as they've got like 6 or 7 steps before they get to you, you're good.
I mean, let him grab you, and you just put the gun into his belly and pull the trigger.
Yeah, just pull it a couple of times. Yeah, just pull it, bam, 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 bam. Just he's good. You're finished. But no,
I promise you, I do not chase people with guns.
We all got to start making soliloquies and stuff, and just giving the like, well, I'll tell you what you so and blah blah blah. But out of nowhere, she gets the assassination bullet.
Who shot her?
A cop on the ridge, way in the back, because
she got like, I kind of missed who shot her, and I was not going to rewind this. This was the longest 92 minutes of my life.
Guinness Book of World Records contender for pistol range accuracy by a cop in LA in the 70s, man.
And it was a revolver at that.
Unbelievable. Like, because you saw it in the background, all of a sudden there's like 2 cops standing on a ridge way in the back, and somehow squared this girl right in the center mass in the back. Unbelievable. Boom, credits.
I do like how movies back in this era just ended. Like the person, I mean, it was not an uncommon way to end a movie in the 70s.
No.
That, like, somebody dies, then it says the end, and you got credits for like 2 minutes and it's over.
Or like, I mean, even like I always reference North by Northwest. It's like the end of North by Northwest is like, oh well, bing bing bing, ring a bell, and then you're done, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on, what now? Like a character, like there's a big giant character moment. I won't reveal it, but there's a big giant character moment, and another character goes, well, I guess that's the end of that. Rings a bell, and that's it. And you're like, what the hell just happened here?
Man, I don't even remember how Cool Hand Luke ends, but I remember it feel like it's just the end of this episode, and you tune in next week or something.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that stuff, and again, I think that comes from like your Bob Rafelsons and things like that, of just kind of your 5 easy pieces where we're making more kind of, character pieces, and then like you said, when the story's done, it's a modern blog post. It just kind of ends.
Yeah, it always felt like it ends when they run out of film.
Yeah, it's just like, well, we finished the end of this story. We got no more movie to shoot, so I guess we're just gonna go home. Roll the credits. The end, right on the top. Well, before we get to our final review here, we do have to find out how this jewel in the crown.
There is no way, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
No way this relates to the one and only Sylvester Stallone.
It is a crown in the jewel of the international, jewel in the crown of the international. It relates back 1-to-1 with Sylvester Stallone. How do you do there, Mr. Stallone? Yep, it's another Stallone connection for me. Have they gotten any better? I hope this week I've risen to the occasion for you. I won't lie to you, Mr. Stallone. This 1-to-1 connection between you and this film was not an easy one to come by. You see, this is one of those all parties involved want nothing to do with the project nor the entertainment industry at all because it's filled with vermin kind of movies.
Yeah.
This week's Stallone connection actually comes in the rarest of places, the poster. The poster for Malibu High was painted by famed Mad Magazine and Brooklyn's own Mort Drucker. Old Morty, as I imagine he liked to be called, entered the comics field by assisting Burt Whitman on the Publishers Hall newspaper comic strip Debbie Dean in 1947 when he was just 18 years old, based on a recommendation from some schmuck named Will Eisner. I wonder whatever happened to that guy. He then joined the national periodical publications, or as you might better know them, DC Comics. Morty left DC Comics in the fall of 1956, shortly after Mad's founding editor Harvey Kurtzman left. Drucker's first visit to the magazine's offices coincided with a World Series broadcast, and publisher Bill Gates told Drucker that if the Brooklyn Dodgers won the game, he would be given the drawing assignment. Well, the Dodgers won, and he got the job. Years later, though, Gates would say we would have given him the job anyway. The first to review Drucker's portfolio was Mad associate Nick Meglin, who admitted, "I didn't spot how good he was at caricatures. Not at all. Not at first. But then he wasn't that great then. You know, with friends like Nick Meglin, who needs a publicist, right?" Drucker said that he just wanted to be an artist and to get paid for drawing anything, and only started focusing on caricature work because he started getting more of those assignments. He said, quote, "That's when I realized I found my calling. At the end of Old Mort's arrival, at the time of Old Mort's arrival, Mad did not regularly feature on television or movie satires. Editor Al Fredelson, I can't pronounce it, sorry. He credited Drucker's style and ability for the decision to start featuring them in every issue. So, like, that kind of celebrity stuff didn't really exist before Mort. So even if you don't know his name or could associate his name to said art, you absolutely know Mort Drucker's work. To say it's iconic is doing the word an injustice. And you know who Mort Drucker drew a hell of a lot of for those years over at the House of Mad? You, Mr. Stallone. Two quick examples for those of you. These are easily findable on the interwebs. We got the cover of Mad Magazine 235. That's Rocky III. You and Alfred E. Newman as Clubber Lang. Is Alfred as Clubber Lang darker than his normal complexion? Yes. Am I okay with it? It's an interesting choice, but it's stupid, and I guess we'll give it a pass. It's Mad Magazine, but try getting away with that today and see what happens. We also have the cover of Mad Magazine 259. Rambo and President Reagan are on the cover. There's an inside story called Dumbo, More Blood, Part 2. And you can even see Alfred E. Newman peeking over the crowd in the back of the Malibu High poster, which is, let's be honest, the shiniest part of this star. Over 50 years at Mad Magazine, and certainly one of the most recognizable styles in pop art over the last 60 years, and he will ever be remembered as this week's Stallone connection. Mort Drucker, thank you, and thank you to keeping your letters to a minimum, everybody. You're forever cigar lighters, stupid Adam of the podcast. Now let's get back into the van and draw the curtains, Bruce.
Oh, no, let's not.
All right. Here at H&P, we have our own patented Robin rating system. Bruce, heck of a ride here. What do you rate Malibu High from 1979?
I did not like this movie. And, a lot of times we'll say this movie was bad, but it wasn't offensively bad. To me, this was kind of offensively bad. Like, this is a movie that you cannot watch if there's any chance somebody's going to walk into the room. And I'm not saying that as a joke. Like, I'm nervous the whole time I'm watching it.
Yeah.
This looks like something for it's dirty, man.
It's
I don't mean like it's
softcore-ish in light ways.
It's just got that 70s drive-in dirty feeling to it. Like they said they made it for 100,000, but I bet 50,000 that was in Coke or something, because it looks dirty and grimy. Like Angel is from 1983. I looked it up and it looks a little bit cleaner. It's still Grindhouse. It's still pulpy, a little bit better version of this. It's not great, but it's better than this. But in my opinion, this is so much into the Skinamax territory. This is the worst movie we have ever watched.
Whoa!
On your movie podcast. That's my opinion. I was terribly uncomfortable watching this.
Well, I can definitely understand the uncomfortability.
I got 3 kids and a wife in the house. It's not a fun watch.
No, this is not a watch. This is the one you on your Black Friday, if everyone was out shopping and stuff, that's the time to watch something like this.
Bingo. That is when I did it.
Yeah, not on Thanksgiving weekend where you're just like, hey everybody, I know we just finished watching the Cowboys game, but I have a film. I have a moving pictures that we all feel like we need to.
And you told me to know nothing going into it, but I saw the movie poster like on the thumbnail, so I knew this is not one I was going to watch.
That I probably should have said at least a little something about like, oh yeah, by the way, this is. But to me, that was and what still remains part of the reason that that I recommend this is and again, you don't have to watch the movie because if you've heard
Jason Todd, by the way, I got to go ahead and give it that official rating before I forget.
That's good. But that's the reason why I like this is because is it a good movie? No, not really. It's not particularly well acted, but it is one of those ones that like. It's just so weird and like you don't know where things are going. And
but it doesn't grab me like that Dolomite Edge. Like there's a lot of really bad grindhouse stuff that I get into. And like I love the Kung Fu movie that we watch, but I just don't get into the sexploitation very much.
Yeah. I could understand, and a lot of these.
If I was, it'd be something like Sweet Sweetback or something really weird,
Well, yeah, and Sweet Sweetback is weird because that one is like as much as that one is almost in the same kind of vein as this, the kind of for lack of a better word for this podcast, a sexy movie. But with that one, it is like. For better or for worse, depending on how you want to look at it, Sweet Sweetback is at least like it's almost art housey.
He got workers' comp for catching chlamydia on set. That is a true story.
But
Mario Van Peebles' father.
But it's so like it's dreamlike and ethereal and stuff like that. So like as grimy and lascivious, if you will, as that movie is, there's like a level of like artistic kind of stuff. It might be a BS artistic stuff, but it's artistic stuff nevertheless, to where he could kind of like, sell this thing to, higher quality, so to speak, audiences and stuff like that. And that's how he's got his films produced and stuff. But for me, this one, like I said, I don't love it. It's a Damian Wayne because it's like right in the middle, but I feel like it's worth enough to watch because it's just weird. It's weird. It takes those weird and twisty turns and stuff. And if you'd never seen it before, that's what I recommend it for.
It might be the longest 90 minutes of your life. Like we talked about it and we laughed and we joked, but I got to tell you, it felt like a long 90 minutes because it's slowly paced. The music's not great. The dialogue's dry.
No,
it is difficult to watch.
All of these things are
it's
true.
Uncomfortable.
No, all of those things are true, and that's why I'm like right in the middle. It's something that I recommend, but like for a specific person, I guess, a specific type of thing that wants to, watch something that like again. The whole point of my month here was just for things that you might not have never seen or would have never had the inclination with which to see.
Yeah, I think that all of these were first time watches for me this month, so I appreciate that.
So like I said, that was the whole kind of point with, and we've ranged in all kinds. I think that's ultimately what my goal was to just like because we got a Japanese film with a Kurosawa that most people hadn't seen. We got a French, for all intents and purposes, silent film that we've done different things and stuff, and that's what I've at least kind of liked with this. I didn't imagine that this would get like a high rating or anything from you, but I'm at least I'm glad that you like at least see what I was going for. I think
I do.
Even though if it wasn't your bag, and that's fine.
Yeah, if I was picking Grindhouse, like I said, if I wanted to cover something like this, I think Angel's a little more well acted and better shot.
Oh, listen. There's plenty of things that I could have chosen that were probably better and better made and more fun. But at the same time, too, you got to have a little. As the song goes, you take the good, you take the bad, and you put them together, month, and there man.
You get to do what you want.
H&P. And speaking of doing what we want, I'm not sure what exactly we're doing next month because we haven't quite talked about it yet. Sean's been out for a little bit. He should be back hopefully soon, but we're going to figure all that out here in the post show. How do you listen to that post show? That's simple. You go over to patreon.com/HMP, sign up for any level, whatever you think this show is worth. If you think it's $1, give us $1. If it's more than that, make it more than that. But whatever it is, just send it our way. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you guys for doing that month after month. And you're the best. You're the best. We really appreciate that. And again, big giant congratulations to Derek and the Worlds Within for passing your Kickstarter there and everything. That's awesome. I can't wait for all that stuff when it comes out and everything. And we'll play a little game. I think we'll figure out some way to do it over the interwebs or maybe in person or something, and put it out for people. I think people would enjoy that. So we'll do all that. But then again, like I said, we'll figure out what we're talking about next week. Bruce, plug something, anything. What do you want? This is your time.
Go to my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel and you can see a trailer for Werewolf Fighter that both Patreon supporter and personal friend Matthew Vandiver has made for me. And just go over there to the Bruce Leslie, youtube.com/Bruce Leslie or @AnimeDad, and check out that Werewolf Fighter trailer. If I can get 3 good hours where the weather and cast agree with me, I'll finish this sucker up and hopefully have it out soon.
Oh man, usually you finding both of those things to be agreeable at the same time, whew,
very hard.
That's a tough one, man. That's a chainsaw juggle that nobody needs to get into if they can avoid it. That is it, everybody. Join us next week when we're talking about who the heck knows for the absent Sweet Sean's and Kovacs from the internet. Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Porters. Stay super, everybody.
Goodbye, Marty and Edie.